some crucial questions around whether this tax rate will be agreed upon, if this continues to get more backing from different countries, and also how it will be implemented. What are the conversations happening right now with CEOs and executives at major tech companies?
Well, it was certainly big news this weekend, and the headlines of what the G7 decided was that they want a global minimum tax of 15%. They want removal of all of the digital services taxes that have been put on the books in many countries around the world. And then they also want to reallocate more profit to marketing intangibles within a country. So that's big news. So there's a lot to this. So everybody's been talking about it during the weekend. I think that there's excitement, but the devil's in the details. And so there's just a huge ask from get the technical rules written so companies can really understand this.
Anna, how do you think this news is being received in Washington?
Yeah, very mixed response. You know, one things that Republicans really agree upon right now is raising taxes is not a good thing. So it depends on how this is implemented. But if trade agreements, for instance, have to be rewritten because of the different tax rates, that I think you're going to find a lot of real kind of people being against it for Republicans. We've already started to hear that. Some of the major people like Kevin Brady, House Republican from Texas, who's chair or ranking member of that committee, has said he is not necessarily in favor of this. So it's not going to necessarily be easy riding for the Biden administration on this.
I mean, Kate, we tend to focus on the most powerful, the biggest companies in the U.S., which tend to be technology companies like Apple that do keep a lot of their cash overseas because of that lower tax rate that they're offered in many countries like Ireland. But your thoughts on other sectors that could be impacted by this global tax rate of 15%?
Well, this will affect all multinationals, whether they're U.S. multinationals, the German multinationals, Swiss multinationals. And so it really is all sectors around the world. I think that's something that is often missed. You know, people focus on just the tech companies, but everybody has operations overseas. And this will cause countries to have to lift tax rates from where they are right now. And so the global ramifications of this are big. And on the trade side that Anna just mentioned, there's a lot of tariffs being implemented from a penal perspective that maybe would get eliminated because digital services taxes, which are quite controversial, would go. That's part of this arrangement as well, part of the communique.
And Anna, you think about the countries that could be negatively impacted by this. And really, Ireland is top of mind, right? It has that tax rate of 12.5%. I used to be based in London, and a lot of the source meetings we would conduct would actually be in Ireland because some of the big tech companies from Twitter to Facebook were based there. Their biggest executives in Europe were in Ireland. Thoughts on just how countries now across Europe and other parts of the world will deal with this new tax rate?
It's going to be super interesting to see what happens with Joe Biden going on his first foreign trip here. When you look at this news coming out, how does Ireland, which I think is the best example, which has been very skeptical already over the weekend about what this means for the tax rates and whether they would support it or not. But certainly Joe Biden's going to try to shore up as much support among the G7 and really bring this to fruition. It will be a big deal for him in terms of a win for his foreign policy going forward, just out of this first trip.
And just to put this in perspective, Ireland's 12.5% corporate tax rate has attracted, Kate, 700 U.S. firms over the last couple of years, employs about 160,000 workers.
Yes, I mean, it's been part of their tax policy for a long time. They tax the wage earners as opposed to the corporation. I mean, they definitely tax the corporation, but at a lower rate to attract business. So this is all about international competitiveness. Companies want to go to places where it's competitive to set their operations and employ people.
You know, one strategy countries have used, Anna, is this implementation of a digital services tax, France, among other countries. Is the expectation that if this tax rate is implemented, 15%, countries like France will remove that digital services tax imposed on big U.S. companies like Google and Facebook?
Yeah, I think that's what, a lot of it is going to be, the devil's going to be in the details here. But certainly, I think that's why you're seeing early encouraging signs from companies like Facebook publicly saying that they were supportive of this, that they thought, kind of certainty in the marketplace would be good. And that also you could see some of these other countries where they do a lot of business that might be actually more preferential for them.
Kate, any preliminary analysis on just how this could affect profits? If you're an investor, you own these big tech companies, what does it mean for their bottom line?
It's going to mean more taxes. And the key is, I think most companies around the world understand paying a single level of tax on their income. But where it gets very difficult is if they have to pay double tax. And so the complexity will be, how will countries implement these guidelines? Because remember, these are guidelines, and then each country has to enact the law. So this is still a long road ahead, but it is definitely groundbreaking.
Long road ahead, Anna. But next meeting that could provide some more details on this tax rate.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be happening right now. You're going to start to see what happens with Joe Biden. What any details that come out with some of these conversations that he has, and then also what happens in terms of how these countries start to actually try to implement this and try to think through what the actual kind of implications are for each of their own countries. And then also from my perspective in Washington, you're going to see a lot of we're going to be focused on what do these companies do? What are they saying publicly? Are they trying to get any changes on the margins of this deal? And where do the tax writing panels go with this? Because it's going to be very contentious.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.